I always thought the scariest thing about my mother dying would be the silence she left behind. I was wrong. The scariest thing wasn't her absence. It was what she left for me to find. It's been 3 weeks since the funeral. I was in her house, the house I grew up in, packing up her bedroom. You know that specific smell old houses have. Dust, lavender, and secrets. I was dismantling her heavy oak dresser, the one she strictly forbade me from touching as a kid. She always said the drawers were finicky and might fall on me. I pulled the bottom drawer all the way out to move the frame. That's when I saw it. It wasn't inside the drawer. It was taped to the underside of the wood, hidden in the gap between the drawer and the floor. A thick, manila envelope. The tape was yellow and brittle. It had been there a long time. My heart started hammering against my ribs. I don't know why. Maybe it was just the instinct that I was seeing something forbidden. I peeled it off. On the front, in handwriting that definitely wasn't my mother's, was a single date. October 14th, 2003. I froze. October 14th, 2003 was the day my father supposedly died in a hit-and-run. I was 4 years old. I have no memories of him, only the story Mom told me. He went out for milk, a car jumped the curb, and he was gone. No funeral, closed casket, she said. No family. He was an orphan, she said. Just us against the world. I sat on the floor, surrounded by cardboard boxes, and ripped the envelope open. Inside, there were no death certificates. There were no police reports. There was a single photograph and a handwritten letter. The photo showed a man. He wasn't dead. He was standing on a front porch, looking angry, pointing a finger at the camera. And in the background of that photo, peeking through the screen door, was a woman. My mother. But she wasn't wearing her usual nursing scrubs. She was wearing a blonde wig. I picked up the letter. My hand was shaking so bad the paper rattled. It wasn't a love letter. It was a threat. It read, "I know you have him, Sarah. You think changing your name and crossing state lines makes you invisible? I will find you. And when I do, I'm taking my son back. Enjoy him while you can. D." My stomach dropped. I'm the son. But my mother's name wasn't Sarah. Her name was Ellen. At least, that's what it said on my birth certificate. That's what it said on her driver's license. I ran to my backpack and grabbed my laptop. I typed in the name, Sarah, plus my mother's maiden name, looking for anything. Nothing. Then, I looked at the date again. 2003. I searched. Missing child October 2003 boy. The first result wasn't a match. Neither was the second. But the third result, it was an archived news article from a local paper in Ohio. We live in Oregon. Headline, Nanny disappears with 4-year-old boy. Parents fear the worst. There in grainy black and white was a picture of my mother. The caption read, Suspect, Sarah Miller, 28. And next to her was a picture of a boy with my eyes. A boy named Caleb. My name is Leo, or so I thought. For 20 years, I live a lie. Every birthday cake, every I love you, every scraped knee she bandaged. Was it all performance? Was I a hostage in my own home? I sat there for an hour, just staring at the wall. I needed to verify this. I couldn't call the police yet. If this was true, my entire identity was a crime scene. I looked closer at the article. The father's name, the man who wrote the threatening letter, was David Thorne, a wealthy tech entrepreneur in Cincinnati. I Googled him. He was still alive. In fact, he was prominent. He had an Instagram. I clicked on it, feeling like I was committing a crime. His most recent post was from a week ago, a picture of him and a woman, his wife, presumably sitting at a dinner table. The caption, celebrating 25 years. Still missing a piece of our puzzle. I felt sick. I looked at myself in the mirror of my mom's vanity. I looked at David Thorne's face on the screen. The jawline, the eyebrows. It was undeniable. I looked exactly like him. I had to know the truth. But I couldn't ask my mom. She was in the ground. I had to go to the source. I bought a plane ticket to Cincinnati that night. I didn't tell my girlfriend. I didn't tell my boss. I just left. The flight was a blur of anxiety. I kept replaying my childhood memories, looking for cracks. Why did we move 4 times before I was 10? Mom said it was for better rent. Why didn't we have passports? Mom said travel was too expensive. Why was she so paranoid about me playing in the front yard? It all made sense now. She wasn't protective. She was hiding me. I rented a car and drove to the address listed on David Thorne's business website. It was a massive estate, gated, terrifying. I parked down the street. I sat there for 40 minutes, clutching the letter my mother, no, Sarah, had hidden. Finally, I got out. I walked up to the intercom. I pressed the button. A static voice buzzed. Yes. Hi. I said, my voice cracking. My name is, well, I think my name is Caleb. I have a letter from 2003. There was a long silence, the kind of silence that feels heavy. Then the gate clicked and slowly swung open. Walking up that driveway felt like walking to the gallows. The front door opened before I even reached the steps. David Thorne stood there. He looked older than his photos, more tired. Behind him stood a woman, my biological mother. She was trembling. David looked at me. He didn't speak. He just stared at my face, scanning every inch of it. Then his eyes welled up. Caleb, he whispered. The woman collapsed, literally fell to her knees sobbing. They ushered me inside. The house was like a museum, cold, pristine. We sat in a living room that cost more than my entire education. Where is she? David asked. His voice was hard, dangerous. Where is Sarah? She's dead, I said. She died 3 weeks ago. Heart failure. The tension in the room snapped. David let out a breath that sounded like a growl. Good. Wait, I said. I need to know. She was a good mother to me. I never knew. Why did she take me? Was she crazy? The woman, my biological mother, spoke up. Her name was Evelyn. She wiped her eyes. She wasn't crazy, Caleb. She was obsessed. She was our nanny. You loved her. We thought she loved you like a professional. But then, she started trying to look like me. She started telling people she was your mother. David interrupted. We fired her. That night, she broke in. She took you out of your crib. We spent millions trying to find you. Private investigators, FBI. She vanished. He reached out and grabbed my hand. You have no idea how much we've missed you. You're home now. You're finally home. It should have been a happy ending, right? The lost prince returns to the castle. The villain is dead. Justice is served. But something fell off. As David held my hand, I noticed something. On his wrist, he was wearing a very distinct watch. Gold with a cracked face. I had a flashback. I am 4 years old. I am hiding under a table. There is screaming. A man is screaming. A woman is crying. A heavy hand grabs my arm, dragging me out. There's a gold watch near my face. I smell alcohol and expensive cologne. I pull my hand away from David. Do you have a bathroom? I asked. Down the hall, to the left, Evelyn said, smiling through her tears. I went into the bathroom and locked the door. I turned on the faucet to cover the noise. My heart was racing faster than before. I pulled out my phone. I had the letter in my pocket. I reread it. I know you have him. I'm not stopping. I flipped the letter over. I hadn't looked at the back before. There was something faint written in pencil in my mother's handwriting. It was barely legible, smudged by time. I held it up to the bathroom light. It said, he broke the arm. Next time he'll break the neck. I have to run. He broke the arm. I looked at my left arm. I have a faint scar on my forearm. My mom, Sarah, always told me I fell off a slide when I was 3. I stopped breathing. The flashback, the screaming, the alcohol. Sarah didn't kidnap me to steal me. She kidnapped me to save me. The realization hit me like a physical blow. The villain I had been cursing for the last 24 hours was actually my savior. She gave up her life, her name, her freedom, to live in hiding just to keep me away from him. The man sitting in the living room wasn't a grieving father. He was a monster who had lost his possession. I heard footsteps approaching the bathroom door. Caleb, David's voice. It wasn't gentle anymore. It was impatient. Everything okay in there? Yeah. I called out, trying to keep my voice steady. Just a second. I looked around the bathroom. There was a small window above the toilet. It looked out into the side garden. I had a choice. I could walk out there, accept the inheritance, the money, the real family. Or I could trust the woman who raised me. The woman who taught me to ride a bike, who worked double shifts to buy me braces, who died with my name on her lips. I looked at the pencil writing again. Next time he'll break the neck. I flushed the toilet. I climbed onto the porcelain lid. I unlatched the window. It was tight, but I squeezed through, dropping into the flower bed outside. I didn't look back. I ran. I ran down the driveway, jumped the gate, and sprinted to my rental car. As I fumbled with the keys, my phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. It was David. Don't be like her, Caleb. Come back inside. I threw the phone out the window and floored it. I'm back in Oregon now. I moved out of my mom's house, Sarah's house, that night. I'm staying with friends. I changed my number. I did some digging into old police reports from Cincinnati, not the news articles, but the actual filings. Buried deep in a supplementary report from 2002, there was a call to the Thorne residence. Domestic disturbance. A child with a spiral fracture in his arm. The charges were dropped. Accidental fall, the father claimed. Sarah knew. She knew the law wouldn't protect me because David was too rich and too powerful. So she took the only law that mattered into her own hands. I went to her grave yesterday. It says Ellen Sarah Miller. I sat there for a long time. I realized I didn't find a letter from a kidnapper. I found a letter from a guardian angel. She hid that letter not to keep me from them, but to remind herself why she could never go back. I left a single white rose on her headstone, and I whispered the only thing that mattered. Thank you, Mom. So if you're listening to this, if you find a secret in your family's past, be careful which thread you pull. Sometimes, the lie is the only thing keeping you safe. And David, if you're looking for me, you'll never find us. Learn from the best. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to N.E.D Creative Press for more stories like this. Check out our YouTube shorts for more stories you won't regret it.